What would be your specific intervention?
Right. I think that first and foremost, I sought to intervene because there has been the creation of an impression by the conveners of the Ghana that some amount of trickery and deception was deployed by the government of Ghana in asking them to meet the ministers on Wednesday or Thursday, at Wednesday. And I'll have to place on record that there was no deception or trickery at all. And if indeed they were supposed to meet the IGP on the same day, I would want to believe that there are different meetings that they were supposed to attend. And the meeting with the IGP definitely was distinct and different from that the one that was arranged with the ministers. Indeed, I was not even aware of any meeting with the IGP at all. So there were different levels of engagement, and must place on record. And as was answered by the gentleman that you spoke to, the IGP was not even at the meeting that we were talking about. So clearly, if there had been any prior arranged meeting with the IGP, that was for a different purpose and was also a different meeting. It could not have been true that they were made to believe that they're going to be the IGP only for them to be tricked into meeting the group of ministers. I think that the meeting with the ministers was actually just for one purpose. This government, in recognition of the fact that security issues may have a bearing on good governance and economic matters and whatever, has formed what can be described as an interministerial committee of ministers responsible for national security. And that committee includes the Attorney General, includes the Minister for Finance, includes the Minister for Foreign Affairs. Because as I said, we appreciate that when it comes to matters of security, it can have economic undertones, it can have good governance implications and whatever. So really, insofar as the grievances that were allegedly stated by the conveners of First Ghana bordered on an address of economic issues, it was found necessary and imperative that that committee met with the conveners. And indeed, I got the notice of the meeting at a very, very short notice. I got it only about 30 minutes before. I was home preparing to go to work when the Minister of National Security called me that they had taken a view that this activity by the First Ghana is one that warranted our attention. Therefore, we ought to meet them and see the best way of resolving the issue. I even had a meeting with the American ambassador. For that reason, I was even late for the meeting with the American ambassador. And that is because I found the concerns of the Ghanaians more important than any diplomatic or courtesy call that was to be made by the American ambassador. So we attended the meeting, and I would say that, contrary to what they say, clearly there was even exhibition of bad faith on their part. And I'll say so for two reasons. The bad faith was exhibited by even the leakage of what was transpiring or what was occurring at the meeting to the press while the ministers were meeting. I think that it's a matter of public record that while the ministers were engaging them, they were actually leaking accounts of what was allegedly occurring at the meeting to them. And I saw on social media, I had to leave the meeting because, as I told you, I had a meeting with the American ambassador, so I left the ministers a little earlier than the time the meeting ended. So I left to go. At the time I was leaving, there was no foreign minister at the meeting. There was no national communications director. If they came to the meeting later, perhaps that was the case. So I was quite surprised when I got to my office only to receive a WhatsApp message from some colleagues of mine to the effect that these people had reported that this was what was happening at the meeting and the foreign minister was there and that kind of thing. I think that clearly it's an exhibition of bad faith on their part. The response by the government of Ghana in attempting to engage them was one that was well intentioned, was one that was well meaning. I have been a convener of various forums which have led to demonstrations of this nature. The Alliance for Accountable Governance was founded by myself with other citizens of Ghana, Dr. Free, Samuel Okwe, whatever. At that time, we led demonstrations, and we never even met the IGP. So indeed, when the Minister of National Security stated that the government had considered it necessary for us to meet them, I found it very, very noble. And indeed, I stated to them that I thought that this engagement was very much in order and was, because if all governments had exhibited this kind of responsible reaction to concerns of citizens of Ghana about the economy, about the energy sector, and whatever, I think that the country would really have been much better off. So when such engagement is taking place and people will be leaking. And then another reason I said that they also had an impact rate was that when I was there, unless the situation changed, when I was at the meeting, after I had spoken, I said, well, I think it's good for us to hear from them. They actually refused to talk. They refused to speak. One of the persons who came to meet us refused to speak. And is that the way to engage? They're talking about engaging the government and whatever. Yet they came to the meeting, the ministers put forth their concerns and reactions and how they thought that this demonstration perhaps ought to be deferred on account of the COVID-19 crisis. They refused to speak. And now they